I look at the Pac-12 and I think that there are 4 teams that have playoff potential in a conference that I believe top to bottom is deep in terms of the best team and the least team. When you look at Oregon, Washington, USC, and Utah, I think all 4 of those teams, unless the conference goes dog eat dog, they have a legitimate opportunity to represent the league in the playoff.
I think absolutely. I don't know if there's a league I'm more excited about watching this year than the Pac-12. And that hasn't happened in a long time. And unfortunately, it's the last chance we're going to get to see a lot of these matchups with USC and UCLA leaving the league. And unfortunately, one of the reasons we're leaving the league is I hope we get to see a lot of these matchups on TV. You just mentioned those 4 teams. And here's the great thing. They all 4 have quarterbacks. They all 4 have veteran quarterbacks, experienced quarterbacks that know how to win. They have the reigning Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep.
And when you look at the schedule, they all 4 play each other. You're going to get every one of those matchups of all of those teams. And it doesn't happen every year. Somehow the schedule's laid out this year. They all play each other. They are going to get to round robin, and they could. The most unfortunate thing for them in the playoffs, they could have some of the best teams in the country. They could start knocking each other off, because you also forgot about UCLA, who's going to be transforming, but Chip Kelly can come in and their style of offense, high powered, the up tempo, they can come and knock anybody off on any given day. And Oregon State, who returns offensive linemen, who returns running backs, DJ Uiagalelei transferred in. They play defense and can run the ball. And, in the college football world, when you say, hey, where do you want to go? Let's go line up and let's rush up to Corvallis to go play a game.
Right.
On a rainy Saturday night. And they have the recipe of power run football and defense that can cause problems. I think it is going to be the most exciting league with offense, quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks that can win, great teams, and everybody's playing each other this year.
And I grew up out there. I grew up in Scottsdale, obviously went to Arizona State. You see the helmets up here. And so I grew up in this conference. And for me, it was always about growing up. It was a USC league. Yep. It always has been. Washington was always another team that would contend for Pac-12 titles. And even back in the day under Don James, Steve Ettman, and those guys, they were playing for national titles. It was always a USC league. UCLA was really good coming up, Cade McNown in that era. But it seems to me, and this is the one thing I don't like, and I stick up for the conference all the time. When Southern football exploded nationally, and I say that because, Dan, you know this, back in the day, college football was Miami, it was Nebraska, it was Notre Dame, and it was USC. That was it. But when Southern football exploded and the SEC just took into this national behemoth, it was almost as if we as a college football consciousness forgot how much good football is played out west. I mean, listen to this right now. Bo Nix, you just mentioned him. The quarterback's coming back. Michael Penix Jr., Caleb Williams. It seems as if some of these guys, Cam Rising at Utah, DJ, I mean, this is a league that I think deserves the same amount of attention, if not for the time zone.
It does. And you said it. I mean, Michael Penix, to watch that Washington offense, and he has 2,000-yard receivers coming back. Bo Nix with the top running backs all coming back in that offense for them. I mean, it is – Caleb Williams is, college football's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he makes magic things happen out there on the field. And then Cam Rising's just your winner, right? I mean, like you watch Utah, and they're going to be tough. They're going to be physical. Coach Witt on the sidelines, I mean, it just looks like, he had the beard going last, a Grizzly Adams coming out of the Wasatch Mountains to come coach this team, right? And their quarterback is just this tough guy that comes in, they play, it is, I can't wait to see it. And I think the benefit you and I get on a lot of Saturday nights is we're wrapping, we're watching, we're there for the 10:30 Pac-10 game, Pac-12 game, I'm sorry, of the week. And that is this year. I can't wait to see all the potential match. I mean, you tell me I can't wait to see USC Washington, Oregon Washington, Utah Oregon. I mean, it's going to be week after week of top 25 matchup. It's going to start looking, I think this year for that league is going to look like SEC games, where they're going to have every week at least 1 to 2 top 25 teams playing each other in the league, must-see games of the week.
You beat me to it, because other than the SEC, which we know with the Georgia, Alabamas, LSUs, and everybody in between, Tennessee, we know obviously that league is stacked, Ole Miss, but you can't find me another league. Like, all due respect to the Big Ten, it's Michigan, Ohio State, sometimes Penn State, maybe Michigan State here and there. That's it. The ACC has been Clemson, Florida State's coming back. We hope Miami comes back. That's about it for them. The Big 12 is cyclical. We've seen Baylor get up in there. We've seen Kansas State get up in there. TCU made the playoff, but I can't think of another league, as you mentioned, when you go depth-wise, 4 legitimate top 15 teams in my estimation. Oregon State is a tough out. Even Washington State's been a tough out. UCLA is a tough out. Arizona under Jed Fish is trying to come up and get you. And then Arizona State made the hire with Kenny Dillingham. Deion Sanders at Colorado. I don't think they're going to be any good, but
that's another story and excitement.
Right.
I mean, it is like you see it. You mentioned it, like SEC, everybody. What Georgia game are you excited to see this year? Because you look at their schedule, they're not playing any of the other top dogs in the league this year.
Mm-hmm.
You go through this year's SEC schedule and just how it's lined up. I mean, you have the Florida Georgia game is always a great one because it's a traditional rivalry game. You're going to have the Alabama LSU game is going to be exciting this year. But there's going to be some knockoffs and some other good games and some tough ones. But I don't think it's going to be the level of this year's Pac-12 matchups. You go through the schedule and I can't wait to see the games.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.